family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys having a great, exceptional day. It's Monday. We're back at it again. It's basically almost the last week of May. I can't believe time has gone by so fast. Made it back home. You know, Texas has always been a great place. Always Houston, Texas will always be my favorite city in the state of Texas. I haven't been to El Paso, but I've been to San Antonio. I've been to Dallas. I've been to Austin. Love those. Those are nice cities, but I like those cities, but I love Houston, Texas. Houston is definitely, I like to call it my third home. You know, my first real home is Los Angeles, California. Number 2 is Phoenix, Arizona. And number 3 is Houston, Texas. So I like it. I love Atlanta. So Atlanta's on number 4, but Houston's always been that city where it's just like the energy is great. The food is great. It's got Southern hospitality, and every other culture that adds their dynamics to the city, from the Hispanic culture, specifically Mexicans, Nigerians, even you have a good Caribbean population, Jamaicans, because, you know, it's right next to the Gulf Coast. And it's just a great diverse city, great energy. You know, if you're a single man that loves a beautiful, thick woman, that's the city for you to move to or to visit. I will say, of all the cities I've been to where, you know, the kind of women that you have your class, you got your little hoodness, your hoods, you got your class. But if you like big, beautiful women who are about something, that's the city for you to go to. So for all the single men out there, if that's your cup of tea, that's the city to go to. Houston's always got that great dynamic. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, okay, so today's word of the day is habituate. Stands for when you habituate something, you are helping it to get accustomed to a new home. Workers in zoos spend a lot of time habituating animals. Now, I chose this word today because this can be related to darn near everything in life. So you start a new job, you go to a new school, and this is for all grade levels, colleges, whatever the case may be. You are in the military. You start, heck, even people who go to prison. Don't advocate anybody going to prison. Never been to prison, never want to go to prison. But if you are put into this environment, you have to learn how to get accustomed to it, for better or for worse. You know, when you move into a new neighborhood, you got to get accustomed to the neighborhood for better or worse. You know, when you go to another country, you have to get accustomed to it for better or for worse. You know, in order for you to survive in that specific environment, you know. Like a lot of people who immigrate to the United States nowadays, they are lucky that they're coming into a community, like, especially if you're Hispanic, you know, that's the biggest quote unquote minority in the United States of America. No matter what part of the Spanish speaking world you come from, if you speak Spanish, you know, what any state you go to in the United States of America, there's going to be a community of people who speak your language. And even though you have to learn certain things to get more accustomed to American society, you can build a business, buy a home, and not ever have to learn a word of English. You know, sometimes even get a career and not ever have to learn English whatsoever in order for you to, you know, to get through, to survive. But it helps if you to be able to speak English and be bilingual more than ever nowadays. But you're accustomed to your culture that you're immersed in when you come to the United States, but then you get an opportunity to become accustomed to the culture outside of your culture in America. And therefore, in a sense, you have the best of both worlds. So, and a lot of these, it's the same thing for a lot of Americans who, they call them expats, who move into other countries in Central South America, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia. You see these little small expat communities that are growing to where people have to become accustomed to that environment that they're in, and et cetera and so forth. And I think this is good for growth, because whenever we get too comfortable and we ever get too stagnated in our lives, we basically become bump on logs. Okay. And I remember a teacher of mine used to say, you know, you're just a bump on a log because, and at the time she had a point, so I can't get mad at that. But she said you're a bump on the log because you don't want to do anything. You're comfortable with coming to school and not doing anything. Because I wasn't the best student. I hated school, grade school. I'm more of a creature of knowledge now. I love to learn. But, you know, back, you know, when I was just school never excited me. You know what I mean? Like, learning stuff excites me. Like, great example, when I was at the Slim Thug concert, I was excited by not just being at the concert, but I was with friends who own their own medical transportation business where they transport senior citizens to doctor's appointments and things of that nature. And they make thousands of dollars, up to $10,000 to $15,000 a month. And I didn't even realize it, but I was in a learning atmosphere for 2 hours because the doors open at 7:30. We got there on time, but the show really didn't start till like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So with that being said, we got with that being said, we was able to have an intellectual discussion. I was able to teach them about real estate. They were able to teach me about their business. So that's the kind of learning environment I like to be in when it comes to business and investments, So I'll leave it at that. Okay. Today's quote of the day is by David Banner. I just saw him. He posted a video on Instagram when he was in front of Congress speaking about how, negativity always overlaps everything else, because when he does something positive in the community, it's not newsworthy. But when he does something negative, especially when it makes his people look bad, it's always newsworthy. So, and that's just what it is when it comes to the immediate period. That's why I get tired. Like the whole dating situation, I don't condone a man hitting a woman, but they're going to continuously talk about this. And I'm just at this point where I don't care about rich celebrities, what they're doing, unless we're talking about making some money moves, or unless they're entertaining me. Anything else outside of the private life, that's for the authorities to handle. It's not for me to get involved. So I'll leave it at that. But it is what it is. So David Banner said, if you want a man that respects the way you think, then show more mind than booty. And I could not agree with that statement more. Now, when he made that statement, it's open to interpretation, but I know he wasn't saying, if all you do is show booty, then a man's just he has the right to touch you and whatnot. That's not what he's saying. And he put this on Facebook 9 years ago, April 2015. What he's saying is, if you want a man to respect your mind, then open your mind up before you start opening up your blouse. If you want a man to respect your mind, get in depth with him and see where his head is at, and have that intellectual discussion, because a lot of people just can't do that nowadays because all they have on their mind is sex. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, especially nowadays, like the younger guys they come out the gate with, hey, what's up with the sex? They're not even, not even trying to fake the funk. Like my generation at least would try to fake it. I'm in my 40s now, but we would at least try to fake it a little bit and bring a little intellectual, some sort of intelligence to the conversation. Nowadays, a lot of young guys is like, hey, what's up with the sex? What's the deal? Comedian Dion Cole years ago, so this was before the pandemic, said this. He's like, hey, I'll give you this D, like I ain't trying to do all that extra relationship stuff, and they just being straight up with it. So I can't get mad at somebody being honest with you. Like a female put on Facebook today, the best way for me to start to block you is the moment you open your mouth, you start talking about sex. At least she's being honest with it. So I can respect that, but I'll leave it at that. So anyways, learn how to have an intellectual conversation, learn how to get in depth with it, read, listen to podcasts. It's not cool to sound just like, I'm just trying to get some of that booty, and you know how I do. You know what it is. It's like be able to, have an intelligent conversation. So anyways, and, if that makes me boring, then I guess I'm a boring somebody. So on that note, do great TV things like share and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves, or you're going to live real like a fool. Take care.